Hi hikers! To continue our hiking series, I'd like to talk to you today about the hip joint and its function when hiking. I will also demonstrate some exercises that are, I think, pertinent to hikers and how to maintain a well-functioning hip joint while you hike. Like all the other joints in your leg, your hip can be prone to pain, tightness, and discomfort. And most likely it's due to weakness and muscle imbalance in the muscle that attach around the hip joint. That weakness will affect how the rest of your leg will behave and how well your thigh is controlled, which will also affect your knee, as well as the position of your foot and how it will accept loading. And I often hear patients being diagnosed with hip bursitis, and I believe it has become an umbrella term for hip pain in the same manner as rotator cuff tendonitis for shoulder tends to be overdiagnosed. In my 16-year career, I've only seen 5 or 6 true hip bursitis, and very often the attachment of the glutes on the greater trochanter is a source of inflammation for most of the time, and it doesn't include the trochanteric bursa. One of the most important muscles in hiking are your gluteals or your glutes, and they're the ones that are responsible for producing the power that will get you up that mountain, and also will affect how the rest of your leg move. So the ability for your hip to turn inward and outward is also key, and we tend to often neglect that mobility. And so I will start with some self-mobilizing technique and stretches. So the first exercise I want to show you is how to mobilize your hip into external and internal rotation. So you can do this easily once you reach the trailhead. You don't need any equipment. It's just a movement to warm up your leg. This would be right hip external rotation. Just opening the front of my hip there, which is basically the same as doing this. The way I'm doing it is nice because it's into a close chain exercise over my right lower extremity, keeping all my weight through that right leg. So again, that's external. For internal, that way. You can do it that way. For external rotation, you can also just bring your leg up and pull and hold for a few seconds and do several repetitions. It's a nice dynamic stretch. This is also very good before you go on a run as well. The other way to mobilize your hip into internal rotation is when you're at home, if you have this tool or something to just drop your knee on, would be to just go in this direction. And same thing, I'll just mobilize my hip into internal rotation. Since I have the chair, another thing to stretch your hip flexors in front of your hip. Before I use the chair, I'll show you a lunge. Just like this. So you're going to feel a nice stretch all through here just to open the right front of your hip. So you can turn this into a static stretch and holding it, or just a squat. So you're going to work on your left quad and glutes at the same time as you're stretching the right hip. Or to what we call the Romanian split squats, getting in this direction here and just lowering yourself slowly, keeping your trunk steady. You're going to feel a very nice stretch all along the front of your hip. Just like this. Let me show you some stretches for your glutes. Easy one. If I stretch my left glutes, just getting in that position. Easy. I'm sure you've done this one. You can also stretch external rotators, getting in this position. This is a little bit harder to do pre-hike. Obviously, that might be more of a post-hike stretch to get yourself moving and prevent some for which you don't need any equipment. You can do also this once you hit the trailhead. Do that at home if you want more privacy. But so you would just stand like this. You're gonna bend your knee a little bit, hinge at your hip, and then do a clamshell. You might be familiar with the clamshell. Laying down. This is more dynamic, very applicable to hikers, as this is what the muscles that I'm working here as I'm lowering myself down the hill is what's working. So again, like this, if I switch side, show your hinge. So this strengthens your gluteus medius. Yet another exercise to strengthen your glutes would be you start into a single leg stand and you're going to go to the other side like this. Works on your balance, a little bit more dynamic. Kind of call this like if you were skating, speed ice skating. And that's a great way. That works also, works on your balance and the stability of your hip. So to strengthen your adductors, your inner groin muscle, which are as important as your glutes in order to keep your hip in balance, strength-wise. This is one of my new favorite way to do it. So just get something steady where you can lay the top leg on top. You're gonna get yourself into a plank and then just lift the leg in. So this is great because it also works your oblique, your core, as well as my glutes on the other side. So another exercise to strengthen your glutes, which is one of the main power producer while you hike, using stairs. So in order to transfer your weight properly, make sure you feel your forefoot, your weight transferring over your forefoot enough. And you're gonna go like this, and then come back down slowly. Up. Lower yourself slowly. And up. Switching with the other leg. To make this more difficult, you can progress, adding one more step. And again, make sure you shift all your weight, use your hips. See, that can be tricky if your glute medius are a little weak to support you, which all this tells me I need to work on my right glute medius. Another exercise that's easy to do at home using stairs is learning how to control the descent and how well you're bending your knee and where you're positioning your knee. So you can definitely hold on for balance. Let's see how my knee stays right over my foot, just maybe a little bit out. And what you want to avoid is your knee falling like this, which is going to happen if you have weak glutes. The other thing you can do is side descent like this. This is gonna work a little bit more your glute medius as well as your quadratus lumborum on the opposite side, which will help balance your pelvis when you go downhill.